Now that season 1 of live action One Piece is out on Netflix, we get to see what the One Piece anime and manga fans think of the series. Is it as bad as live action Cowboy Bebop? Or as bad as live action Dragon Ball movies? Or maybe it's the best live action anime adaptation we got so far. So let's take a look at some of the One Piece anime and manga fans' reactions and comments to season 1. Zoro is too serious. It's his post-time skip personality, but even more edgy. I think the biggest departure that people might not be happy about is that the fact they cut down a lot of the idea of extended one-on-one fights. Kuro is a great example. His fight in the manga and anime was decently long, but here it's just a punch and a headbutt and we're out basically. I loved everyone except Luffy. Bad acting, and the character was a little bit too attached to heroism and forcing things. The manga Luffy was laid back and very detached and funny. If you can disassociate yourself from the original work, I can see this being somewhat enjoyable, with the writing being the most subpar thing about it. There are tons of shoving in your face moments that aren't necessary. 7 out of 10, but as a long-time fan of the manga, it's a 1 out of 10 for the poor writing when compared to the manga. As a One Piece fan, the live action was great. However, it cut out a lot from the manga and completely played around with the timeline. However, if you are someone with no knowledge of One Piece, I'm 100% sure you enjoy it. Luffy was probably the worst aspect. Always notice how stiff he says One Piece and the king of the pirates. A lot of his lines and the silent pauses came out cringe, compared to Buggy, who's stealing the whole damn show with an actor that brought the character exactly to life. After finishing it all, I'd give it about 6.5 out of 10. It's competent but undercooked. They cut so much that you lose a lot of the emotional beats. It definitely would have benefited from about 3 more episodes or so. I thought all the characters were too introspective. It felt like there was a lot of talk no jutsu in the series. I've always found that part of One Piece's appeal is that it's really good at showing, not telling, and that all of the characters, especially Luffy, are characters of action. I think the characters would have been more true to the originals if they were less introspective. I thought it was genuinely a perfect adaptation and the changes were all warranted. Some key moments I loved were scrapped, but that's kind of the business. It was overall fine and decent, but it was just so dark and serious tone. The action scenes in the live action just felt like Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. I laughed maybe 3 times, which for One Piece isn't what I would have expected. Not bad, just not a One Piece feel at all. I really like it and would give it an 8 out of 10, but in my opinion, Garp seemed out of character in a lot of the scenes. He's supposed to be a more mature version of Luffy, but here he kind of seems like way more calculated, and Luffy seemed nerfed in comparison to his manga performance. Live action Buggy was a menace. He was so different, yet I felt like it really worked for the character. He was channeling some Joker energy with his delivery and look, but was distinctly dumb like Buggy. For some reason, One Piece live action does not have the same vibe as the One Piece anime. The live action is not as funny, the action parts are not as satisfying. This show strayed too far from the source material in certain scenarios that if it were to get more seasons, certain things would either have to be retconned, removed, rushed, or added in last minute to make sense. Or it would continue to stray even further away. Garp is a completely different character and Hachi is entirely cut. These aren't minor changes. I really like how they tweaked the story to make it better to fit a TV format. It kept me waiting to see what would happen next, even though I know the original material very well. As someone who has read the manga for years and a faithful follower, I'm thoroughly enjoying the live action so far. I love the music and seeing the characters come to life. Oda's pacing is right. I get the feel that a lot of the fans think that it's more of the Netflix version of One Piece. How do you guys feel about season 1? Let me know in the comments.